I had a friend of the show write me a letter today. The person who wrote it says they were reaching out to prove to her cousin that black people aren't all millionaires and billionaires. Her cousin thinks all is well, even though she herself doesn't have money. Well, see, that's not ignorance, that's programming. Tonight, we're deprogramming with hard facts. I want to thank the person who wrote this letter because I think it gives us an opportunity to discuss something that doesn't get enough attention. Black Americans aren't doing well. 94% of black Americans are not millionaires. We celebrate the few who make it so much that people think that it's normal. It ain't. It's not normal to be a millionaire. It's not normal for us. Maybe it's normal for some other people. I don't know. But it's definitely not normal for black Americans. If only 6% of people, that includes people with master's degrees, doctorates, lawyers, scientists, all the basketball players, everybody put together, fam, only 6% of them are millionaires. And we only got a handful of billionaires. It's only like 14 billionaires, black billionaires in the country. But see, we watch TV. We watch the movies, and every time we cut it on, they put a black person in a great position, like running a law firm or being a doctor of science, or I don't know, maybe it's beyond the gates. Everybody beyond the gates got money. Oh, they killing it. Did you see the dresses? But in reality, for every $1 a black American has, a white American has 8. Yeah. I remember this skit when I was a kid, man. I forget who did it. I want to say it was something like Three Stooges or Tom and Jerry. Let me see if I get this right. How's it go? How's the joke go? So they find the cookies, or they find something they've been looking for, right? He said, hey, let's split this up even. Okay. He said, okay, I'm going to count it out. He said, 1 for you, 1 for me. 2 for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for me. Now you got 2. 3 for me, or 2 for me. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 3 for me. 3 for me. Yeah. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Get it? Every time he gave him 1, give himself 8. I've been waiting to use that one. The wealth income realities for Americans so people understand where we're going, because whenever I'm talking about the need for immigration to be different, whenever I'm talking about the hiring practices, whenever I'm talking about the schools ain't shit, whenever I'm talking about the gross inequality in this country, there's always somebody who doesn't get it. In fact, some people say, Tim Black, you are a charlatan, brother. You are a grifter. You're making all this money telling black people need to fight for black people. We need to all fight together. Ain't that what you've been doing with the Democrats? Listen, fam. In 2023, which is the most recent numbers I could find, right? So this is under Biden, under the Democratic president, not that evil Trump. Median household income in 2023 overall was $80,000. That don't seem like a lot of money, do it? I mean, not as well as you think you would be doing in the most financially rich country in the world. 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Well, that's of 2024. 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. That means they need their paycheck every time pay run around. Or something will get cut off, or something might get repossessed, or somebody might be evicted. 40% of Americans can't cover a $400 emergency, or they got to go borrow money from a friend or pawn something or sell something. 40% of Americans live this way. I'm sure my friend's cousin doesn't know that. Mind you, right here, I'm not talking about Black America. I'm talking about America in general. Make America great again. 40% of Americans can't cover $400 expense. That means if you get an abscess on your gum, you're screwed. If the tires blow, screwed. If more than one blows, you're screwed. Maybe you can ride on a donut for a week, but if you can't ride on the donut and it's more than one tire, or maybe your brakes go out. How many people ever had a good job, but couldn't get to it because you ain't had money to go? Not only can I not get to the location where the job was, where I was making the most money I've ever made, but I can't even drive the free car that you're going to rent me because my money ain't right. Anybody else ever been in that position? Just me, huh? Average American household debt is $100,000. That includes mortgage. Credit card debt average, $6,500, carrying balances month to month. So, damn, man, America's not doing so well. Let's talk about Black America, because the person who wrote this letter, I happen to know she's a Black American. And I'm pretty sure her cousin's Black. I'm not positive, but I think so. You know it's bad when Black people don't know how Black people are doing. Yeah, when Black people have a false sense of how Black people are doing, they think, all this talk. We doing it, we killing it. We getting BBLs. Somebody got a G-Wagon. Nobody I know, but somebody got one. That guy who does the show about the money, he talks about getting G-Wagons. All you got to do is, cross the T, dot the I's, throw it up underneath, catch it, flip it in the air, do a somersault, read the market, play the market, buy crypto, do some drop shipping. G-Wagon just shows up at your door. The Black American wealth gap is no joke. Median Black household wealth is $24,000. Median white household wealth is $190,000. So we got $24,000 to damn near $200,000. That's our median wealth. That's a 1-to-8 ratio. That's for that $1 to $8, $2, $16, $3, $24, $4, $32. You get it. Make that thousands. Not so funny now, is it? See, these are things I be thinking about when I have people telling me I'm wrong. I'm grifting because I'm trying to help Black people get this shit together, because I care about the condition we're in. But when you read these numbers, you go, damn, well, maybe Tim got a point, because, white America ain't killing it, but this sucks. We always talk about the Black homeownership rate. 42.3% for Black Americans, 74.2% for white Americans. Last I checked, Latinos were in the 50 range. So Latinos who just started really coming here in the 70s passed us by damn near 10 points. But, Jim Clyburn loves you. Maxine wouldn't know what to do without you. It's always in your corner. Median Black household income is $50,000. Median white household income is $81,000. The Black poverty rate is 17.1%. The white poverty rate is 8.2%. So we're 2 times more likely to be impoverished. Child poverty for Black children, 26.4%. America All of America, black, white, Latino, Asian American, all that. We have 37.9 million Americans living in poverty. I know you're going to think I'm tripping, right? Damn near 40 million Americans are pretty broke. 40 million. Now, if tomorrow you woke up in whatever city you live in, and 10% of the people in your city all came down with a very vicious flu, you wouldn't go door to door to people finding out if they had the flu and say, why'd you get the flu? What'd you do to yourself? Why you have all this green stuff coming out of your nose and mouth? Why are you coughing that way? What'd you do that for? You're a loser. But see, that's what we do. I mean, common sense would tell you there must be something going around. There must be something in the environment that created this illness. How'd they catch it? Because too many people have it for it to be an individual problem. Right? Yeah, because you're smart enough to know you can't F up that much. Not everybody all at once. Not 40 million people. But see, that's what we do when it comes to money, because the people at the top pay people in the middle or the people on the bottom to lie to the people on the bottom and the people in the middle and tell them the reason why they're not happier, reason why they're not doing better is because something wrong with them. Because if we ever start to think maybe we're on the bottom and we're doing bad because of the way the system's set up and that somebody is benefiting from us being on the bottom, we might fuck around and join together and do something about it. Now, I would love for that to happen. But what tends to happen is we have people that want you to do better but never do as well as them. And they think they are angels for that. $13 million children live in poverty, which means their parents are in poverty because kids don't have jobs. And the reason why that 40 million number is so big is because there are a lot of seniors who don't have kids that are living in poverty. Because we don't care about old people. We step over them and keep it moving. And remember, I got a person that's friendly with the show, and I'm sure this person's done their best trying to tell their cousin the deal, and their cousin don't want to hear it. So we're helping a friend out at the show. We want her to be able to play this clip to her friend, so let's keep it G, Tim. Let's keep it G, let's keep it 100. And let's not go off the rails, Tim, so she could share it. I remember, man, back in the 80s and 90s, I think it was the 90s, early 2000s, black people couldn't brag about much, but I remember we used to say things like, yeah, black people, we got violence in our community sometimes. We might shoot each other, but there's a problem in the white community. Their kids shoot themselves. Well, we can't say that anymore. We caught up. Yeah. Let's talk about mental health real quick, just so our friends know. 1 in 5 U.S. adults experience mental illness. That's 57 million people. 57 million people. 1 in 5. American black adults, 21% report mental illness, but only 39% receive treatment. 52% of white adults receive treatment. I think that's actually up as far as more people receiving treatment. We used to joke about it. If you see somebody on the corner, I think it was Sinbad. Remember Sinbad used to say that joke that if you see a brother on the corner talking to himself, he's just working it out. The reasons why people don't get treatment: cost, number one, stigma, and lack of culturally competent care, meaning some people don't understand me. Why I'm going to talk to them about my business? Number one cause of divorce: money problems. Not relationships, not men cheating, not women don't cook. Money. Number one cause. I know that's not sexy enough for the people that want to make money being relationship gurus. It's crazy to say, man. We got all these relationship gurus. A bunch of divorced men telling men how to get women or how to win in relationships, and a lot of lonely women telling women that men ain't shit. I wonder, I'm sorry, fam. I'm sorry. Okay. Friend of the show's cousin. Black Americans are not doing great. If Black Americans were doing great, our kids would be doing greater. They'd be doing better. I know you saw the show where the woman had the money and she had the nice job and she had the husband that was making all this money. And I know that does exist. It's just not as frequently as you think. The U.S. self-unaliving, the silent epidemic. They call it an epidemic because no one talks about it. No, they call it silent because no one talks about it. They call it an epidemic because it's a whole lot of people. Listen, the U.S. suicide rate is 14.2 for every 100,000. Now, historically, the black suicide rate was always lower, as I stated earlier. But black youth, between 10 and 2040, their suicide rates increased 60% since 2007 through 2020. So the black suicide rate went up 60% in the last 10 years. Black children from 5 to 12 have higher suicide rates than white kids of the same age. If we were doing so great, friend, whose cousin or cousin of the friend of the show, would our babies be hurting themselves? And do you think our babies are hurting themselves for fun? Or is there some pain there? Is there something else going on maybe? We already talked about medical debt. We talked about student loan debt, food insecurity. Well, we didn't talk about food insecurity. That's a good one. 12.8% of black households versus 7% of white households are food insecure, meaning they can't keep enough food in the house. Student loan debt, black college graduates owe $25,000 more on average than their white colleagues or peers. In medical debt, 23 million Americans owe significant medical debt. And disproportionately, black Americans owe the most. %60 of all Americans live paycheck to paycheck. This isn't a black problem, it's an American problem, but black folks are hit the hardest. See, when I'm talking about immigration, when I'm talking about the situations that we found ourselves in, we vote for the same party for 60 years, automatically like it's a religion. And I say, hey, we got to make some changes. It's not out of grifting. It's not out of hoping to build a massive following. At this point in my life, the only real hope I have is to leave a legacy for my children, to be on the right side of these issues for my people. It's not to sponge off my people. You may not have noticed or not, but I took quite a pay cut to do this because I wanted it to matter. It was more important to me that I do something that I truly believed in. And I'm sorry, fam, talking to a bunch of progressives and being their black friend, it may have been lucrative, but it wasn't the way that I wanted to live my life. At least not the rest of it. So that's why we do it. I'm not saying I'm a saint, but I'm saying if you believe that the way to go is to be a leftist or a progressive or a conservative or whatever you think, fine, I don't give a shit. But what I'm telling you is when I'm looking at these numbers, I come to a conclusion that black people need a certain type of assistance. They need to be prioritized because we're catching hell the most. But the same people that say they're so progressive and care so much about people don't believe that, even though we 3 times more likely to die earlier. to have less, to struggle more. And now for our kids to leave early. And what do we get? We get people saying, oh, you're grifting, you're lying, you're just saying it. You. Man, it's fine to disagree with me. Sometimes I disagree with me. I'll be honest, sometimes I disagree with me. I come back and, anybody that believes the same thing for 10 years hasn't grown. Anybody has the same exact thoughts, ideas as they did 5, 10 years ago. What you been doing for 5 or 10 years? You haven't grown at all? You haven't learned anything new? Still doing things the same way? Once upon a time, people knew their neighbors, man. I think that's the reason why this friend of the show, their cousin, doesn't know how black people are really doing. Maybe people don't want you to know. Maybe people keep it to themselves how things are really going. It's likely. Except for TikTok, most people don't share their struggles online. But every time I turn around on TikTok, someone's sharing a story about someone's untimely death or some struggle, some horrible, some sad story. I will give it to TikTok in one way. It does remind you how fortunate you are to be alive and well if you are. Because them shits pop up all the time. I know it's not just me. All these numbers come from the Census Bureau, the Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances, the CDC, the American Psychological Association, and the Pew Research Center. None of these numbers I've shared with you tonight come from Tim Black himself, making up shit and pulling it out of my coffee cup. Hey, I'm not saying that all of white America's doing so well. But what I'm saying is, if white America woke up tomorrow and they were doing as bad as black America, you guys keep talking about a revolution or a civil war, there'd be one. But it wouldn't have nothing to do with us. It had to do with that government. It wouldn't be us. They know we ain't got the money. And anybody dumb enough to think black people are the ones getting the money, I don't know what planet you from. Really. It's okay to disagree with me. It's okay to have another plan. It's fine. Some of us have other plans. They want to do things like, start food banks or clothing drives, GoFundMes, all these types of things. And look, man, who am I to knock you for doing what you think is right? But all I'm saying is, I'm an information guy. I'm a commentator. My job's to talk about it, share thoughts. Come up with a game plan. I'm trying to. I think I have one. But first of all, what black people got to do is you got to stop believing the movies are true. Yeah, Ryan Coogler, nominated for 16 Oscars. You shouldn't even know who Ryan Coogler is. You know who Ryan Coogler is because there's so few black directors killing it that the few that are doing well are super exceptional. There are a lot of white directors who haven't made nearly as impactful movies as Ryan Coogler. And you don't even know who the hell they are. I dare say some of them are mediocre as fuck, but they're way more paid. .5% of lawyers are black men. 5% of doctors are black women. Even though you cut on your TV and you see one in every other sitcom or drama. Shit ain't real. It exists. You probably could also find a leprechaun if you look far enough. I'm joking. There are a lot of male doctors. There are a lot of black doctors and a lot of black lawyers. I'm saying. But I'm just saying, our shows, our movies, our music, all of that, it's propaganda, man. It's a good way to escape reality. But don't escape reality to the point you end up like a zombie off The Walking Dead. Don't be a biter. Don't be a walker. Okay. Thank you for the letter. Thank you for the request. Thank you for the suggestion that we cover this topic tonight. I think it's important for people to realize where we are. And then once you realize that we are in dire straits, that we are behind the eight ball, that this shit is not a game, people are not making shit up, people are not playing. 40% of Americans can't afford a $400 emergency without borrowing shit or selling shit. In the press conference. That says it all, right? Or would you rather believe 40% of Americans just don't want anything? They all got victim mentality. That's it. They ain't hustling hard enough. They're not hustling hard like Gary Vee said. Oh, damn, they haven't invested in enough crypto. Like the guy who said he got a G-Wagon. Now they doing this. I noticed the guys that were talking about crypto and all this other shit, now they're doing this. Why are they doing this? Why aren't they doing the investment? Why are they over here trying to do? It seems like, I mean, I'm not doing the crypto. I'm not talking about investments. You know what I'm saying? I'm still doing this. Why? If all the investments was working out, why would you feel a need? You're not talking about ICE? You talk about things like news? Commentary? Really? Thought you was the investment guys. Don't fall for the hustle.